Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise to lend my support to the report by the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs and congratulate them on a very timely and honest assessment of the sugar industry, Honourable Speaker. I thought I'd just start my comments by just reading perhaps the concluding paragraph in the report, Honourable Speaker. The Fiji Sugar Corporation stands at a critical juncture. The 2025 annual report obscures a deteriorating operational reality. The lowest sugar production in 15 years, a revenue collapse of nearly 25%, a debt burden that remains unsustainable despite the largest government bailout in the corporation's history, a continued decline in the sugar production, persistent inefficiencies in cane supply and harvesting practices, and mill infrastructure that requires extensive restoration when it is 140 years of age, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I think it is fair to say in this House, this is no longer a political issue, this is now a national issue. And every single parliamentarian in this room needs to take heed of this report, and let's knuckle down and do something about it. Honourable Speaker, I'd like to credit the Honourable Prime Minister for coming up with a select committee on sugar. I, of course, to be honest, when the idea was mooted by Honourable DPM Viman Prasad, was a bit skeptical. Perhaps with my political lens on. But as the conversations progressed, Honourable Speaker, what became apparent was this is a national crisis on our hands, Honourable Speaker. We have ignored the problems for too long, and it's now staring us in the face. Having said all of that depressing information, Honourable Speaker, I have to say that I am optimistic that we can fix the sugar industry. Honourable Speaker, our movements around Fiji, in the West, in Lambasa, give us confidence that we can find solutions to the sugar industry. Honourable Speaker, the recommendations that are highlighted here, and was mentioned by Honourable Rinesh Sharma, an industry that perhaps does not talk to each other enough, an industry that requires major reform, an industry that needs to look at how we mill currently, whether we need just one mill in Vitilevu and one in Vanuatu, etc., etc., Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, right now, there is already one report that is from the FAO. That will be, and we hope to use that report quite extensively in the Sugar Select Committee. That will be followed up by a diversification report coordinated by the Honourable Minister of Agriculture. And I think between what we have seen on the ground, the recommendations in the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs report and the European Union report, I think, Honourable Speaker, I am hoping and praying that by the end of this parliamentary session, we would have mapped out, at the very least, a strategic direction on where to take the sugar industry. And let that be a legacy of not only this side of the House, but every single member of this Parliament. That we can proudly say that we actually did our best to find a way forward for the sugar industry. I support, Honourable Speaker, the recommendations made in this report. I congratulate the committee for its honesty and forthrightness, and I support the report, Honourable Speaker. Thank you.
I thank the Honourable Kamikamica. I will now call on the Honourable Thumbuna, the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I think all the honourable members mentioned what needs to be done with the industry, and I'm quite confident with whatever that we need to do. We already know what to do, but I think it's a matter of having the political will to put all the actions and all the recommendations from the committee, and of course we look forward to the select committee. All the work that we are intending to do has to be in cohesion so that we can have a sustainable plan for the industry into the future. I have no other comments, but I would like to thank every honourable member for their contribution, and I do support the motion before the House. Thank you.
I thank the Chairperson of the Standing Committee, Honourable Tambuna. The Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? If no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. I now call upon the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, the Honourable Sagis Tamuna, to move his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I move that Parliament debates the review report on the Sugar Cane Growers Council report. Annual report 2022, which was tabled on 17 July 2026.
You seconder?
I second the motion.
Honourable Kumar, I now invite the Chairperson of the Standing Committee to speak on his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I rise as the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs to move that Parliament takes note of the Committee's review report on the Sugar Cane Growers Council Annual Report 2022, tabled as Parliamentary Paper number 75, 2026. At the outset, I wish to acknowledge members of the committee for their dedication and commitment throughout this review. The Sugar Cane Growers Council plays a critical role within Fiji's sugar industry. As the statutory body established to represent and safeguard the interests of sugarcane growers, the Council carries significant responsibility in advocating for farmers, facilitating engagement with stakeholders, and supporting the long-term sustainability of the industry. The committee acknowledges a number of positive achievements highlighted in the annual report. Growers received a final cane price of 91.3 per ton, significantly exceeding the forecast price and providing a much needed financial relief at the time. The Council also continued supporting mechanization within the industry, facilitated legal and advisory services to growers, assisted with weed-side distribution, supported insurance programs, and continued advocating on lease renewal and land tenure issues. Speaker, sir, the committee review identified several areas of concern which requires attention of Parliament. First finding relates to the significant delay in the tabling of the annual report. The financial year under review ended on 31st July 2022, and the audit was completed on 27 June 2023. However, the report was not tabled until September 2024, some 26 months after the close of the financial year and 15 months after the completion of the audit. The committee considers this unacceptable and inconsistent with the requirements of the Sugar Industry Act. Such delays undermine Parliament's oversight role and diminish accountability for the use of public resources. Secondly, the committee found that annual report provides key limited information on SCGC's actual achievement against its own key performance indicators, while the report outlines activities undertaken across the sugar sector. It provides inefficient evidence on how the Council itself is measured and achieved on its stated objectives. Effective performance reporting requires clear indicators, measurable outcomes, and transparent reporting on results achieved. Thirdly, the committee noted deficiencies in reporting on lease renewal outcomes. The Council highlighted advocacy efforts undertaken with the Tauke Land Trust Board and other stakeholders. However, the report does not provide information on the number of leases renewed. This lost the premium rates applied and the overall impact of these engagements on growers. Given that the land tenure remains one of the most important issues affecting the future of the sugar industry, The absence of this information limits meaningful assessment of the Council's effectiveness. Another key concern raised by the committee is the lack of demographic data and succession planning information. The report acknowledges that many farmers are aging and that fewer young people are entering the industry. However, it does not provide the data on the grower age profiles, youth participation, farmer attrition, gender participation, or succession planning outcomes. Without such information, it becomes increasingly difficult for policymakers and stakeholders to plan for the future sustainability of the industry. Speaker, sir, the committee was also concerned by the absence of transparency regarding the SK Trust. The Council is the principal beneficiary of the trust, which holds assets originating from the former Sugar Commission. However, the committee found that there is limited public information regarding the trust governance arrangements, financial performance, and income distribution. No income distribution have been reported since 2019. The committee also received feedback from growers, particularly during a consultation in the Northern Division, expressing concerns regarding service delivery, consultation frequency, and responsiveness to grower issues. While the Council continues to engage the growers, the committee believes that there is room for significant improvement in communication and stakeholder engagement. The committee, to address these concerns, the committee has put forward several recommendations aimed at strengthening governance, accountability, transparency, and service delivery within the Council. Speaker, sir, the committee's review makes it clear that while the Sugarcane Growers Council continues to perform an important role in supporting the growers, improvements are needed in governance, reporting standards, transparency, and accountability. The recommendations contained in this report are intended to strengthen the Council's ability to serve growers effectively and to ensure that public resources entrusted to it are managed in a transparent and accountable manner. On behalf of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, I commend this review report to Parliament and respectively request all honourable members of this August House to take note of its findings and recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Chairperson of the Standing Committee, the Honourable Thumbuna. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate, and I have a list of speakers, and at the end of the debate, we will have a right of reply from the mover. I call first on the Honourable Joseph Nand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to contribute to the debate before the House. Speaker, when you examine this document, we are looking at a period that tested the absolute limits of our sugar industry and the resilience of our cane growers. The reality on the ground during 2021 and 2022 seasons was incredibly harsh. We saw the total crop harvested drop significantly to 1.4 million tons. This decline was a direct result of severe weather events, especially Tropical Cyclone Yasa, Ana, and Laita Kodi. Our farmers in the Northern Division bore the brunt of this devastation. The Lambasan Mill area alone suffered a staggering 46% crop loss, leaving families scrambling to recover from extensive property damage and lost income. Mr. Speaker, these figures in this report do not just represent tons of cane. They represent the daily struggles and livelihoods of our registered growers and active harvesting gang across Lotokar, Rawai, Lambasa, and mill areas. When a cyclone causes massive water logging and crop logging, it is an individual grower who suffers immediate financial ruin. The subsequent reduction in cane yield and sheer difficulty in managing flooded fields create a relentless cycle of debt that spans multiple seasons, making it nearly impossible for families to plan for the future. The Speaker we also have to acknowledge the broader systemic issues highlighted in this review. Our farmers are grappling with high production and transport costs. We are seeking an opportunity, effects on aging mill infrastructure, critical labor shortages, and the steady migration of our young people away from farming towards urban centers or overseas opportunities. Speaker, this report makes it abundantly clear that without structured government subsidies and robust support programs, a vast majority of our growers will continue to face severe financial stress and ongoing inability to maintain their leases or invest in modern farming equipment. Furthermore, the efficiency of our logistic supply chains, including tramland operation and transport networks require urgent modernization to reduce the heavy burden currently placed on individual farmers who are forced to rely on expensive alternative transport methods. The Speaker said, growth in Singatoka are concerned at the current leadership overseeing our sugar institution. We get endless excuses and constant finger pointing instead of concrete, actionable solution. Mr. Speaker, the leadership running the show today acts more like a spectator than a driver of progress. When shortages hit supermarket shelf and our crushing season faces repeated delays, the response from the top is merely to pass the buck, deflect responsibility, point fingers at everything, expect the unmanageable incompetence. The Speaker says we must find solution in this report to drive genuine change rather than letting it sit on the shelf gathering dust. The Sugarcane Growth Council is a vital mandate to protect effective representation and secure long-term viability to our farmers. This means we need policies that look beyond short-term disaster relief. We need sustainable solutions for climate adaptation, proactive drainage maintenance program, and fair pricing mechanism that genuinely reflect the rising cost of agriculture logistics, fertilizers, and fuel. The Speaker says our cane growers has also been the proud backbone of our national economy. They do not just need our sympathy after natural disaster strikes. They need robust, proactive support. They need us to ensure that the Council and the broader administration are adequately equipped, properly funded, and generally driven to protect their interests on all fronts so that the next generation sees a viable future in agriculture. With this, Mr. Speaker, I support the motion before the House. Thank you, sir.
I thank the Honourable Nan. The next speaker is the Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Kamikamica.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. In the interest of time and because of the lateness of the night, I don't intend to be too long. My interest in contributing to this debate, particularly with this report, is basically, firstly, thank you to the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs for the production of the report on the Sugarcane Growth Council. And of course, as mentioned by the Chair, the Cane Growers Council performs a very important role in the sugarcane growing industry. It is essentially the body that looks after farmers' welfare, in principle. And Honourable Speaker, one of the things that certainly the Select Committee has discovered in our moving around, Honourable Speaker, is the representation of the Sugarcane Growers Council. And perhaps as an add-on to the findings that have been produced by the committee, Honourable Speaker, I would like to add on the fact that urgent attention needs to be paid to ensuring adequate representation of the farmers on the council. That was very apparent that it was something that was lacking, Honourable Speaker, when we were moving around. And I am hopeful that it is something I know that the Honourable Prime Minister is very interested to see whether that can be dealt with even before the end of this financial year. That perhaps there either be elections of cane grower councils and farmers to represent, or even nominees to sort of represent the farmers. So, Honourable Speaker, beyond that, I support the recommendations that are tabled here, the importance of the timely financial reporting is mentioned here, the need for better data in terms of demographics for the farmers, which I thought was a very important recommendation. There is an interesting recommendation around improved financial transparency. In other words, clearly breaking down the financial information at Sugarcane Growth Council, so that where the grant money of the Fiji government is going to can be better understood, and also the need for KPIs for the Sugarcane Growth Council. So, Honourable Speaker, I support the recommendations of the committee, and would like to add on the fact that at the earliest time possible, certainly the Select Committee should look at getting proper representation into the Sugarcane Growers Council. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.